Virtual reality, also known as VR, is a simulated experience that can be similar to or completely different from the real world. Many use VR for entertainment and leisure, as there are an array of games you can play.
Well, you might be asking, what does VR look like? Well, it comes with a set of headsets where you see the games through, and as well as the controllers to control your characters.
You can play many different games, from sports games to fighting games to even music games.
We interviewed Mr. Bull to find out a little more about the product and how it could be useful in many different situations.
So my name is Mr. Bull. I'm a technology coach for the middle school and the high school here at the International School of Bangkok. Some people call it ISB.
Great.
So virtual reality it's like a way where you can grab this device, you put it on, and you enter an entire new world. So if you ever watch Star Trek, some people would call it the holodeck. And it is to the level now where it actually works, so it really feels like you are in that new world. Though it's mostly an animated world, so it doesn't feel real in that it could replace your current world, but it's more like an animated version of that world.
Okay.
So I think virtual reality is helpful for students in that it allows them to enter this whole new world where it's anything you want to do, almost you can do. So for example, if I wanted to go off to South Africa, take my students there, I could take them on a 360 tour where they could go in and look around and see what it's like to be in South Africa. You could see what it's like if I was a science teacher to hop onto the space station. And there's apps, for example, that let me climb all over the space station and play things and try things out, pick up the controller and turn things and twist things and all that to get that feel of what it's actually like to be on it. It can also help with things like empathy. So, for example, if I was studying war-torn areas of students your age, for example, I could have you go to that area and imagine what it would be like to live in Syria or something after a bombing at your apartment, which is a whole different experience to actually see it and to feel it than it is just to read about it and hear about it. Also with art, they now have 360-degree art sculptures. In fact, they have like graffiti spray. So you can go into a city block and do graffiti spray all over the place if you want as a form of art. Do you want the honest answer?
Yes.
Man, I love it for gaming. So, I mean, it has its awesome educational points to it for sure, which is how we would use it in a school, but just as a leisure activity to get out there and have my sabers, and I'm whacking away at the blocks as they come along when I'm playing Beat Saber. Or Robo Recall is one of my favorite, where I get to run around the city and destroy robots that are trying to take over the world. It just goes on and on and on, the amount of things that you can do in it. Haunted houses. It's got great leisure activity, just like any computer. So from an educational point of view, I think it probably is totally worth it. And that's why we're going to buy a class set or more, just to experience it, to see if there's content out there. So it's kind of like, they're actually less than iPads now, and they're a lot less than computers. And so we use the iPads, or we use them a lot in the past, especially in the elementary school, to allow kids to engage in content in a virtual world. Now this allows you to put that on and actually move your hands and do those sorts of things. So to be able to give somebody an immersive environment, an immersive experience for $399 US is a pretty reasonable price for us to be able to be innovative and maybe keep ahead of other schools. So I'm not sure yet if it's totally worth it, but it's definitely worth exploring. And if good content comes along, then it'll be definitely worth purchasing.